My name is Darci McKinnon. We are in New Bern, North Carolina, which is far east, North Carolina coastal side. Also the first capital of North Carolina and the birthplace of Pepsi Cola. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Undivided. We are a group of youth directors, ministers, depends on what denomination as to what they call us, and Baptist, Catholic, Presbyterian, Methodist, Episcopalian, Lutheran, and then general like Church of Christ. We have put together this group of youth ministers in town who are combining to do youth program. We decided that so many times churches compete for kids, and it's not about the kids themselves, it's about how many do I have coming to my youth program, I've got a cooler space, different things like that. So we decided to take the competition out of it and combine and do stuff together as Undivided and not let the denominations and what our religions say, that we're coming together as a Christian community to create fellowship and do events together so that we're all united, as opposed to, hey, I believe this, I believe this. We started about 3.5 years ago. It's kind of morphed and changed. It started as just kind of youth ministers coming together and kind of sharing common issues that people in ministry deal with. And then we're like, it'd be really cool to start doing some combined stuff. And so it's kind of grown. We now do a combined Bible study for mid-highs and for senior highs. We have a book group that kind of meets together and we learn from each other, and our kids, recognize that we're in this together and we're creating good community and not looking at it as I'm competing for you for their time. They understand now, we've been doing this long enough, we combine for mission projects and other activities that we're trying to come together and let them see each other in the school hallways as, hey, I'm not a cheerleader, I'm not a track star, I'm not while I may walk in a different social circle, we do have a common bond that I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, and we can support each other even though we may not be in the same clique in school. And we've really kind of overcome some financial boundaries with that, because we've got the skater kids and you've got the goth kids that are hanging out with the private academy, cheerleader, football, not your typical people who you're going to see hanging out together. And whereas they're learning to listen to each other's types of music, and from really, really hard rock punk to cheesy contemporary Christian la 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 stuff with guitars and tambourines. So we're learning from each other. We found those kids that are still going to go and find unhealthy practices are still going to go find that. Mm-hmm. But our goal was to find a positive environment where kids could be themselves and offer different things. We just finished doing a back to school event, and we were celebrating back to school, but at this event we had foursquare basketball, skateboarding, roller hockey. We had 3 different kinds of bands that was from heavy rock, punk, ska to a more kind of smooth flowing, almost reggae kind of. So we got, but it was an outside festival carnival where middle schoolers to high schoolers came. They hung out for 2 hours. We got hot dogs, and they as a community came together, black and white, and totally different socioeconomic backgrounds, and were combined in a positive. We had security on site, but there were no fights, there were no ill words that were said. They cleaned up after themselves, and it was just a real positive experience. The very first event that we combined together was to do a Super Bowl party. Most organizations that I know that work with kids end up doing some type of celebration for the Super Bowl. It's one night. If you don't watch football, you go, and a lot of churches get together and have. So we decided to combine all of the churches and just say, hey, we're going to open it up and see. And we had 400 kids show up. Some watched the football game, some just played dodgeball. It was a safe place for them to be, while their parents may have wanted to go watch the football, but it kind of all started from that, and we've just kind of grown from there. A lot of churches do ski trips. It's one of those traditions that a lot of churches have. We decided, given what the school calendar was, that instead of each of us separating and me taking my 25 kids skiing, there's not a lot of places in North Carolina to ski, so we're all pretty much going to the same place anyway. We combined our trip and we combined our forces, and we made it a ski and serve trip. So we did a full day of mission on top of a full day of skiing. We had 120 kids go. And they got to experience worship and small group time and fellowship and service. And I was just like, this is why we're doing what we're doing. We were able to come together and develop a small group curriculum, and everybody was able to kind of have their small group time with their own church, but then also as the church on a bigger sense. And it just worked. We were able to share resources. My church happens to have a bus. Another church that went didn't. Well, I only had half my bus filled, so it saved them thousands of dollars. Just say, hey, just put your kids on my bus, and they got to know each other, and it was great. So sharing resources, and that's why we do what we do. I hope they will see that there is more than one way to worship God. We at First Presbyterian are very high church. Our pastors wear robes and collars, and we have an organ, and it's very prim and proper. One of our churches that we work with, they've got a rock band on stage, and the minister wears a t-shirt and jeans and sometimes no shoes. It's just a different experience for kids to realize that while we're different in school, there's more than one way to skin a cat, for lack of a better, I know that's a horrible thing to say, but they can learn from each other, and they can question, and then it's okay to do that. We definitely have a poor community, we definitely have a rich community, and it's not very often. There are a lot of race problems at our high school. Some of it is racially motivated, some of it is economically motivated, and I think by bringing that community of both white students and black students together, and to see that, why we may come from different sides of the track, and why we may, our parents may drive different types of cars, we do have something in common. It may not be the color of my skin, it may not be the amount of money that I'm carrying in my pocket, it may not be what I'm carrying around personally, but we do have something in common, and that's that we are Christian, we are a believer, we do have faith that we're carrying. No matter how that looks and what color that might be, or what flavor that might be, we have something in common. And hopefully that will let them see beyond what's obvious and right there in front of their face. Sometimes it's just the thought of getting a community of kids together. It's worth exploring ways to bring different people together. And in a small town where there's a lot you can do to get in trouble, providing positive experiences for kids to be in social situations that are safe, it's important as adults that we provide those opportunities and let the kids be themselves, and not, put them in a box, and let them be creative and be who they are, but still in a safe environment. And in today's world especially, there's not a lot of that. We're either separating ourselves by not participating in things because something might happen, but just giving kids a safe space to be themselves and to kind of explore and meet other people. In today's society, kids can pretty much get what they want, when they want, how they want it, and so trying to appeal to the masses yet still be focused enough to meet the individual needs of your congregation. So we're still exploring and figuring out if we're doing it right. Only time will tell.